Hi.
How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
I've got the most badass mom the circle has ever seen on my podcast right now. I'm pretty
Don't
stoked.
tell Michelle. Don't tell Michelle.
How's everything going today?
Everything is good. How are you?
Good. You're busy.
Oh,
I
I'm
I honestly like ever since I've been doing this, I've always wanted to like keep posting on social media and stay relevant. And I don't like sometimes I sit there and I'm like, what am I gonna post?
Can you please get out of my head? Because I feel like I don't do as enough as compared to my castmates. I feel
Yeah.
like I'm running out of ideas because I'm like, what am I giving you? Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So
No,
don't.
I
It,
hear that.
it's
I
draining.
I
It's very draining trying to keep up with that whole thing because before, I mean, social media shouldn't be that serious. It's pure entertainment, but now it's taken on, when you do things like this, podcast or TV, whatever it is, it's a whole nother thing now.
I I honestly like I sit there sometimes and I come up with an idea and I'm just writing it down. I'm like, oh, I'll remember this, I'll post this, I'll do this. I'm trying like come up with ideas of stuff to do. I golf and I'm like, well, I'm outside, I might as well take a picture and then post it. And it's just like you run out of ideas so quickly. And I've seen you on TikTok, you're quite the dancer.
I love to dance, but I'm like, again, how much can I do?
It's so true. Do you see your castmates often?
Well, there's Matt is on the East Coast, right? Calvin is originally from New Jersey, but he travels back and forth. Daniel, I see he's in Florida, but it's one of those things where if we want to get together, we're going to get together. But it just sucks because the West Coast folks, like I'm close with a lot of them there too. But I haven't been able to go to them, and they haven't been able to really come to me. So
Yeah, fair
it's
enough.
one of the things. People expect us to be up under each other every day. I'm like, we all live in different parts of the state.
It's also it's a big change once you're back home, right? You never know where someone's going to be from. But you brought up Daniel. That guy was your supporter. He
And who would have thought?
loves you.
I love him too, but I would have never thought in a million years because I kept thinking his story was too, like, too good to be true. I'm like, you're 20, you've never had any alcohol, you've never done this, you've never done that. I'm like, is this some old man sitting behind the screen? I was like, he's good. If this is really not Daniel, he's got me good. Like, that's all I kept saying.
I'm assuming that after this fully aired, did you go back through and watch it all? I feel like you'd have to.
I didn't.
Really? You didn't want to, or you just I guess that'd be the only reason, I guess. Don't want to see yourself
It
on
was
camera?
weird. It was weird for me. Like,
Yeah.
it was weird for me because, again, you went in thinking one way, you came out thinking another way, and it's like I experienced it. So then what am I really watching it for? But what interested me is like when family and friends watched it and they told me their perspective
Yeah.
and hearing it from like the outside and how they saw it. I mean, it's greatly edited. So I'm like, okay, let's see what you guys think when you may not have known everything that went on, if that makes sense. That gave me a lot, like to hear what other people thought of it.
It makes a lot of sense. I interviewed a guy that was on Love Island, and he talked about all the different things that like happened during the day that never really made it to camera. Like sometimes, and it's reality TV, and this is a game show. Like it's got to be entertaining. Like no one's gonna watch it if it's not, right. So they gotta tailor the episodes and come up with like a narrative kind of thing as much as they can. Obviously, they can't decide what you guys do, but definitely I could see some things being left out.
Absolutely. And the way I just went in because I'm like, I learned it this way. Like after I was on game shows before, I was on Family Feud before, I was on Newlywed Game before. So I've experienced TV like to an
No
extent.
way.
Yeah.
That's
So
incredible.
yeah. So the so when you're behind, in front of the camera, it's a whole nother thing, right? And we're not in control of what is going to make it out to the end. So
Yeah.
for this, I was very mindful because I was like, okay, and being a little older than everybody else, and being a mom and being married, I was like, exactly how I come across is exactly how they're going to take me, right?
Yeah.
And if I don't like everybody knows, like a lot of people say to me, oh, you're so much bubblier and so much personable. Like, why weren't you like that on the show? And I said, well, that's because you guys are knowing more layers to me, right? If I was who I am in real life, fully on camera, whatever that gets changed to, you're not going to understand. And you're going to assume I'm a certain way when I'm not. You know
It's
what I'm trying to
also, yeah, 100%. And it's also hard for you to be that bubbly, dancy, laughy, fun when you're
Yes.
alone in an apartment.
No way. And that's, you know what, believe it or not, that was one of my battles that I had because I'm like, I bounce off of people and energy.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
but I'm an only child at the same time. So that I know how to be alone. But I'm like, how am I going to do all of this when they're not seeing me? Like, it
Fair.
was weird. It was hard for me. So I was like, let me, like I said it from the beginning, trust me when I say I could have ripped any one of them. Whoever had stuff to say about me, I could have ripped any one of them. But I'm like, listen, that's not my style in person. In person, I could say it direct. So I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to be the girl that happens to be 4'4", sitting behind a screen talking all this smack. And then people be like, oh, look, she talks smack about people. She can't say it to their face. You know,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
played which probably got me so serious about the game because I played out every possible scenario that could happen once the show airs, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. You go back through and think about what you could have done. The thing that blows my mind, like I'll just gonna jump right into this. I'm so excited to ask you about this stuff. Like you got, and this is my opinion, you got shafted. And I don't know what you think about it. I don't know what you can say about it, but like you had a week where both the influencers got to just eliminate someone, right?
Yep.
And Nick eliminated you.
Mm-hmm.
You were not an unpopular person. You were always in the middle of the pack. Daniel loved you, Kay loved you, that whole side of that clan liked you, and then Nick goes in and just ends it. Like it was hard to watch.
It, you know, believe it. Listen, it stung
Yeah.
because it stung in two different sides of it. The one side of it, I was like, okay, Daniel's an influencer. I'm golden, right? I'm not knowing this is about to be a double blocking, right? I
Yeah.
have no clue. But the only thing that gave me, I was like, oh, Daniel's there. I'm good. We talked before. We're good. We have the alliances, whatever. But then Nick, I never got to speak to him, right? We never got to speak.
Yeah.
And I kind of, my mistake was I went in thinking we were the first date. We're always going to take care of each other. We were the first date. That was my mentality. And I didn't block him when I was an influencer. And I could have because Kay wanted him blocked.
Yeah.
And I said no because I was like, with this whole Michelle situation, it's already tainted. Like it's too much going on. Why don't we just get rid of what's the obvious that's a mess right now? He wasn't a mess to me. He wasn't.
Yeah.
And then when it happened, I honestly didn't know what to say. Like my reaction was the true reaction. What can I say? It stung. It stung bad. But to be honest with you, this will sound crazy, but once Calvin got blocked, I kind of knew the game was taking a turn. Because again, he got along with everybody. He was like a great dude. And I clicked with him immediately. I was like, he's a great dude. He's personable. He's this. He's good looking. He's charming. Yeah. And I'm like, once he went, I was like, this could be anybody. It could be anybody at this point.
It got weirdly strategic. And obviously being in the game is a completely different animal. But seen from our side of things, sometimes it didn't really know. You didn't really know what people were going to decide until you got later on in the seasons, and it was like two clans. Like it was like just divided right down the middle. Then you could kind of tell, but everyone was kind of all over the place for so long, and you kind of just thought the more popular people like you and the guy you were just talking about,
Calvin.
Yep. Calvin, we're both very popular. You guys clicked with everyone, and maybe like with how fast it happened, you didn't have time to talk to everyone personally. Correct. But you had your gangs, and like you said, like Daniel became influencer. He would have blocked his own mother before blocking you, so you would have thought you're gonna be safe for sure.
And you know what? A few things with me, I felt like I had a couple how can I say, like with a lot of things, I had a lot of exposure and I didn't like that. Like, for example, the cake challenge, right? Kay made a cake for me. Daniel made a cake for me. Then the rap battle, Daniel writes something nice, raps nice about me. It was like, once I dropped my full body picture, it was like, oh my God, Ruksana, we love Ruksana, queen. And I kind of wish they didn't because I'm like,
Too much
maybe you tried to express how much you loved me, which I loved you back, but you expressed it so much. Oh, and people are looking like, damn, like, who is she? Like, where is she coming from? And that's exactly what happened,
Yeah, man, it's hard because you never, like, it's like when I talk to the guy from Love Island, the amount of things that happen behind the scenes is so crazy. But when we see from home, we see you rate each other. Everyone's finished their ratings. The ratings come back. Influencers go to a room. Influencers vote. But like, is that actually how it happens and how you see it? Like, do you actually see it as you do the ratings and then are they know who the influencers are, tell the other two who they are before so they can get to the room? So it's not so much time. You're waiting the whole time.
Where everything is happening real time. We're literally waiting hours before they announce who the lineup, right?
Okay.
And then basically you're prepared. It could be anybody, so you have to be prepared to know that if you're influencer, you're gonna go to the hangout room. You're gonna do what you have to do. But we're literally waiting, and that's probably the worst part of it all. You're literally waiting. There's no telling how long.
Just alone with your thoughts.
Alone with your thoughts. You're scared every time. It's probably the most draining day because you don't know. You don't know.
Now, I don't like, are you like allowed to talk about anything related to the show?
Depends.
Like, are you guys all actually, like, obviously you guys all have to be in that building if you're all going to go to those, in like those rooms to
yep.
And are they actually beside each other?
No.
I didn't think so.
No one is near you. Everything is soundproofed. You're literally walking around with headphones when they're taking you to wherever you have to go. You're not seeing anyone. You're not hearing anyone. You're
so
basically
they put headphones on you to walk you to that room.
Correct. Yeah. You don't hear anything. Yeah. You won't hear a peep. You won't hear a peep.
Is the hallway that you walked to go see, because you went and saw Daniel and they give you like your runway walk and you walk through the hallways. Is that actually the hallway?
No. But it's in the building though. It's in the building.
Yeah. I figured everything's in the building. You don't leave the building until you're done, right?
Correct.
Do you, like, I know some shows, because this gets filmed all of it, right? And then it gets all released to Netflix, or it gets released by episode?
No, once all of it's done, I believe it then gets to Netflix.
So do you go home right away?
No. We have to stay until regardless of what your outcome is, you have to stay until the finale.
Okay, I thought so. So the only reason why I asked, Love Island was, it filmed in Fiji, so they're 24 hours behind us. So they would record the episode, it would come out the next day, and it would literally be the day before. They were editing every night. It was every day it came out, and every single day was a new episode. So they could go home right away because it doesn't matter. By the time they got home, people already knew that they were gone.
Yeah, no. This was October of last year, and we were quarantining for 2 weeks and then 2 weeks taping.
That's so, these shows blow my mind because like I just keep referring to Love Island because my only way to like the TV world, but he was there for 17 days and like you're in Fiji and it looks like it's weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And even yours, like you said, 2 weeks.
Yep.
That'd be the longest 2 weeks ever.
It was very stressful. And the only time you're not taping is when you're sleeping. So you're taping. There's no TV. There's no phones. That was hard for me. I'm like, because I'm used to, I'll jump in and go to Target. I'll go here. You have your phone.
Yeah.
Really taught me that it's different when you don't have all those kind of comforts. It puts you in a whole nother mind frame. You're just determined to do what you got to do and go. Like that's all you're trying to do.
It looked like you got pretty good at darts.
I was running out of. I was doing everything. I was reading books. I was doing puzzles. I was doing arts and crafts, bracelets, painting. I'm like, what else? I was even doing bowling by myself. I was like, what else can I do at this point?
That's so funny. Like, do you guys have like an entertainment bin of stuff that you can do? Like,
basically tell them what you want and they'll get it for you. They're great with that. Like far as food, entertainment,
I was
far as
gonna
like
ask you that.
yeah, you
The
just
food
tell them.
thing.
Yeah.
They'll just bring you your groceries or whatever you want.
Yeah, because I cooked, because to me that was a way to pass time. Because I mean, whoever that didn't cook, they wanted takeout and stuff. That was fine. Or in the UK, they call it takeaways. But if they wanted takeout, they would order. I would cook. A lot of junk. I mean, the food was different there. So by the time I got used to like all the things that they have compared to what we have, I was like, it was like towards the end. So I was just like, okay. But it's
I don't
different.
think I actually knew that it was filmed in the UK.
Manchester. Yep.
Wow. So you had to get out there and you were there for what, a month then?
I was there for a month and I had never traveled by myself before. And I was too close to not do it because I was like, I never been on a plane by myself. I always have a tribe of people around me. And I said, you know what? It's a once in a lifetime opportunity. I'm just going to go for it. And that's one thing I could say I did do. It was very lonely, but once in a lifetime opportunity for sure.
That's so impressive. You got to tell them, like, I applied.
You did?
I applied after watching your season.
Did you hear anything back?
No, not yet. No, I might have been. Huh?
You need to keep in touch with them to see what happened.
Yeah, they said they sent me an email. I put like together like a promotional video, like explaining like what I do on here, and that I really want to get out and meet new people and travel and try and play this game. I think I'd be good at it, and I don't know. I guess we'll see where it goes.
Yes,
But,
fingers crossed for you.
Do they bring in Canadians?
I'm not sure with the Canadians. See, with me, they found me. I didn't apply.
Wow.
Yeah, they found me on social media, and I didn't have a big following or anything like that. I had like 600 followers at that time when they found me last year, and they found me, and I did it. So there's no such thing as you have to have a certain amount of followers. You have to be somebody established in entertainment or nothing like that. They're cool. Nice. It's regular people.
You were on the Newlywed Game and Family Feud?
Yes, Newlywed Game we won in 2012. And then Family Feud we were on twice. Didn't win the big money. My in-laws were kind of I played with my husband and my in-laws. Some were kind of nervous and it was a lot of pressure.
Oh, for sure.
But if you type my name on YouTube, my first name, you could see my clip. Oh my God, my dog. You could see my clips with Steve Harvey.
That's so funny. Just give me 1 second. I gotta grab something to show you.
Sure.
So I did a podcast episode last weekend with a bunch of my friends. So I rented like more gear. So I had mics and proper lighting and that stuff. And we did the Newlywed Game.
Are you serious?
Yeah, we actually like I had a buddy of mine who like dressed up in like a light blue, baby blue suit, and he was wearing like jean shorts and cowboy boots, and we were all sitting around the edge of the table and had it video. I'm still editing it because there's a lot I need to take out of it, but it was so much fun. We sat here and drank the whole time and played the Newlywed Game.
Yeah, when I did it with Sherry Shepherd was the host. I don't know who's the host now, but they don't put anything. They didn't put anything on YouTube. I mean, this was 2012. I'm sure if it was now, they would put all this stuff up, but it was great. It was great. We went to St. Croix, a 1 week all-inclusive paid trip.
No way. Like, did you apply for that?
Yeah, that and Family Feud. Newlywed Game, I applied. And then Family Feud, my niece applied. And then we auditioned for that. And we were on that. That was a great experience too. Family Feud was the absolute best. So many, that's why I always tell people, it's not about the win. It's such a network that you're building, and it's a lifetime of friendships. You can't pass down opportunities just because you think you're not going to win, or there could be a chance you don't win. You just never know what that opens up. You never know.
Well, like, I know I've seen some of your TikToks and some of your videos where you say you're at work.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do? There's like Waka Blocka or something, and
Taylor Swift, not Swift. It's Swift.
Yeah, Taylor Swift.
You know what? I am a payroll specialist. I process payroll. But I'm 8 hours. I'm there 8 hours a day. So I'm like, maybe I should start doing stuff here. I'm always trying to think of what I could do. And then my castmates are so cool. They're like, oh yeah, we'll do TikToks. I'm like, okay. So we like do TikToks on our lunch break. I just try to do as much as I can. It's tough being a creative, but I try.
I don't know, honestly, some of the TikTokers that do it every day, like some of them make so much money, but I'm like when I started doing it, I was like, oh, you just make like a quick video and then like you post it once a day. And then it's like, I take 4.5 hours to make sure the video is right before I post it. So
I don't even like the effects and the stuff people are using. Like when they're laying down and they get up and their clothes are different. I'm like, what are you doing? I don't even know how to do this. My 6-year-old knows more than me. I'm like, okay, like we'll just try.
So you were on Family Feud, you were on the Newlywed Game. Did your personal life change at all after the circle?
I mean, now it's funny because people would stare at me because I'm small, but now it's like I don't know if they're staring at me because they saw me on the circle or if they're staring at me because. But I do have people like say, "Oh my God, can I take a picture with you?" And I do pictures. I'm very cool with stuff like that. I don't mind that, so I do have a lot of people that recognize me. Yes.
That's crazy. And just going back to the game, we actually we watched like 3 episodes last night just to finish it off to see who won the game. I don't know if probably won't do a spoiler alert here, but when Daniel got blocked, I was like,
I know.
Actually, you know what? Spoiler alert! If you're listening to this episode, you're about to hear who won the circle. So it changes the time if you want to. But so James wins the circle.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so shocked because his alliance was so tight with Daniel and Kay that I thought he's got to convince Nick to get rid of someone in his alliance because Jackie couldn't be voted for. And oh man, it just blew my. I couldn't believe that Nick changed his mind.
I mean, I don't know how they could be so surprised that Nick wouldn't take care of his alliance when that's all he had. Because those are people he built towards the end, right? I mean, like those Ashley, which is Matt, Isabella, that was his group. Like what else? I didn't know what else James thought. I don't know what was going through his head. I don't know. But how do you think that he would save Daniel? Like he wasn't close with Daniel like that. Well, he was in a wolf pack, I guess. With Daniel, he did have some type of alliance with him too. So I don't know.
I figured that Nick would try and get rid of Daniel or at least someone from the other alliance. I just thought that right away, like when it was Nick and James and this was at the point in the season where the place was completely divided. You had 2 sides, 2 teams. Whoever loses a member is pretty much screwed because the other half is just going to start picking off the other alliance, right?
I think James's mentality was whatever he had to do to protect Kay. So then it was basically like, okay, I'll get rid of Daniel, but you better protect Kay. I think that's what it was.
It worked out for him. So
yeah. I think Daniel was, I think Daniel was obviously he was surprised. I would have been too, but what could you do? You don't know. They could say as much as they want, but when it comes down to that rating, you don't know what they're thinking at the end.
Now, is there any like rules? Like, what if they can't decide on who to block?
No, you're in there as long as it takes for you to decide.
I wonder how long some of them actually take. You only see the footage of them actually like conversing.
It takes a while. It takes me and Kay. I remember when we were doing it, we were so on the same wave. We were just shooting. We were just, okay. What do you think about this one? Okay, this one. But I know for the others, I know some. I remember hearing that some took longer just to decide.
Is there any conversations between like the personal messages that aren't recorded that you guys are just like shooting the shit or talking about life or anything like that?
No.
They only give you a certain amount of time to talk to each other, right?
Exactly. Yes. You have a little window to get what you have to say out and for them to understand and believe that you're genuinely who you are. It's as simple as that.
See, they do a good job of showing that like you guys are like all like create private message, sending your messages, and then the thing closes and you're all like, oh, I didn't have enough time. You know what I mean? Like, oh, the chat's closed already. Like right. they get a little bit of an idea of showing that, but I didn't realize how pressed for time you guys really are to try and just talk to one another. Like,
yeah, things happen so fast. You have to really be up on to speed of everything that's going on. Things happen very quickly. Things change. It could be a challenge. It could be an elimination. It could be, you don't know. You have to be on your toes. That's why I'm like, it's $100,000 on the line. It's not something you could take light at all.
No, for sure. I'd be so stressed.
Yeah.
I'd be so stressed out. I'd be running around the apartment building, standing on the couch for some reason, like everyone else does.
I was just drilled in. I'm like, okay, what's going on? I got to make sure. All right. You just got to be focused.
Me and my fiance were watching the episodes, and we were sitting there the one night, and it was during one of the blockings, and we were like, why are they always so surprised when an alert happens? Like, why are they always so shocked? Like, you just voted, here's your results, alert, and you're like, oh my God, alert. And then we're like, why are they so shocked? But now hearing from you where you actually have some time in between, like hours maybe, it's like, okay, this makes more sense. It just fires up alert.
Know the alert is about to be life-changing. So that's our reaction, like, whoa, what's going to happen now?
Or like the one that always made me laugh is someone's been blocked. You notice, or I think it just comes up on the screen. Actually, you put it in the chat saying who was blocked. And then that person can go meet someone. So someone gets blocked, their name goes gray. Mm-hmm. And then everyone's just like back to like, I guess I'm in this apartment building alone. And then it comes up, they're on their way to meet one of you, and you're all like, oh crap. like this hasn't happened before, but it's hard because you only see, like, it could have been a half hour later or whatever it may have been. Like, you never know. And with this game, one blocking, I remember the last season, it was whoever was last in the ratings, like the season before you. And then this season, it was two people can block whoever they want. And then one of them, James, had to go and block someone in person. So I guess it really does flip flop. And I guess that's where you could not expect what was happening. But
right, because you don't know. You don't know at all.
One of the things I was always so eager to know is, how do you choose what activity you do? Like using the gym, going to do yoga, using the hot tub on the roof. Like, how, do you book a time, or do you all have those facilities at your leisure?
We would have to let the producers know that that's what we want to do. And if it's available and no one else is there at the time, we can go. Okay.
So you ask, then they take you if it's free. And then if someone else asks and you're still in there, then no, it's currently being used.
Yep.
Is the hot tub actually on the roof?
Yes. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful area. That's where we would go to get fresh air. Like if we wanted just to get some fresh air for a little bit, that's where we would go to. To me, all that kind of extra stuff was taken away from my focus. If I'm in a hot tub, I want to relax. I'm not going to be sitting here playing the game while in a damn hot tub. So that was not a go for me, period.
Yeah. You just like forget you're in the game. Oh. It's
right.
So relaxing.
Like, I'm not doing this.
When they bring you stuff to your door, like the packages or the little trophies or whatever it is, if you walked right out your front door and someone else walked out their front door, can you actually see each other in the hallway?
No, we're not near each other at all. We're spaced out between the floors. It's a big building.
So confusing.
The building that you see is the building we're in.
Yeah, I knew that. And you can, I assume that.
Yeah, it's only, we've never seen, all we know is we all sleep in that same building, but we won't see each other at all.
You got to be like wondering like, oh, who's on my floor? Or
you won't know.
They do a really good job with that game.
They're amazing.
I gotta say, did you watch the seasons before
Their production team is amazing. I don't know how they I was able to see 1. 2 was taping when we were there. 2 was wrapping up taping when we were there. So I didn't see 2 till I came home.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So 1 was the only thing we were able to watch to have something to kind of base it off of. But clearly the game completely changed from 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that didn't matter at the end of the day, how 1 played.
At least you knew that you had to speak to a TV and you were stuck in an apartment. So
exactly.
Man, if you were to change anything a part of your gameplay as of now, what would you have changed?
That's tough. Maybe my throwback picture, maybe me, getting all that love and the positivity that I got became a threat for me. So maybe I would have approached it differently, because to me, I felt like my size didn't really matter for this game at all. But I also didn't want to be the type to where people would be like, oh, she's not saying who she is because she's insecure or she's not confident. So I was just like, let me make it an epic moment. When it's a flashback photo, do an epic photo. But now I think about it, that could have been the seed that started to grow with far as me being a threat, for sure.
It's hard, and you never know if it would have affected
You
it or
don't.
not. Like, so many things go through your head once you're blocked, I'm sure.
And the thing is, it's funny because I just spoke to whoever organically connected with me, right? I didn't care if they were a catfish, they were pink, purple, whatever they were. I just was like, okay, if we click, we click. So it's just funny. I didn't really get to talk to Nick. We didn't really, I don't think we have many things in common, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's just funny how out of all the people that I did click with to some extent, the one I didn't really is the one that ended up blocking me, So
Yeah.
I don't know if
Tough to
that
think
was
about.
if I did speak to him more, or if we did get to know each other. I don't know.
Now, obviously, would you say that your tightest alliance in there was Daniel?
Well, Kay, from the beginning, Kay is who I clicked with from the beginning. Daniel grew on me. It was just one of those things where, like, he reached out to me, he was going through a tough time, and me being the mom and like the big sister to people like I am for life, I just took it in. And then I just knew he's a good kid, and he's young, like he's going through a tough time. Like, even I felt like it was a lot. So I wasn't surprised, but the group that, I ended up connecting, like Calvin, I was close with. James, like I connected with him. So you just never know. Like, I didn't know me and Daniel would be this close. No, I didn't know. But now I see why. Like, from that to now, I see why.
When you were sitting in the finale watching the four of them up there, were you secretly rooting for anyone? Want to see your girl Kay bring home the money, or
Kay and Matt. Kay and Matt. Because, see, to me, again, I had that mentality, like James came in at the end, right? Like, how much we all built relationships and did all these things from the beginning. So yeah, James deserved the win. That whatever's going to be is going to be at the end. But to me, Matt and Kay did what they had to do. They were there to the end. They did what they had to do.
I think that personally, from watching the show, and me and my fiance said this last night when we watched it, if anyone, I believe, like, were you not blown away when you saw Matt?
I was, first of all, I'm horrible because my faces show everything how I feel. So I was like,
they put the camera right on you.
And people are like, oh, she's so serious. I'm like, no, damn it. I'm trying to figure out what is going on. Like, because I don't know any of that. Right. So like when I walked on stage, I'm like, where's Vince? I didn't know Vince was Nick because we didn't see the show. Right. So I was like, oh, where's Vince? And they're like, no one's saying anything. I'm like, where is Vince? Then we find out that Nick is Vince. Right. And then Isabella, I was like, who is this?
That's Sophia.
Which is Sophia. So I was like, who is this? And then Matt, I just loved him. Whoever Matt was playing, whoever that person was as Ashley, I loved Ashley. But was I shocked it was Matt? I was like, what the hell? Love them. But to put a new face with them, I was like, whoa, this is a lot to unpackage right now.
Based on gameplay, and it sucks because for Kay and for Matt, or for Kay and Nick, Matt, Ashley, she was original too, wasn't she?
She was she was there. She was the first date too. Yeah.
That, in my opinion, is harder. I understand that James didn't have a choice of when he was brought in, neither did Jackie.
Correct.
But like, to make you go through, like, I think you made it through more blockings than James did, and James won the show.
That's what I'm saying. That's why you can't go in this feeling any way, because you don't know. And it's not ours at the end to decide. It could go any way.
And I also see it from both sides, because from your standpoint, you build better connections being in there longer. Yes, you have
Yep.
to get through more blockings. And in your case, you got, my opinion, scammed, but that's my opinion. Anyway, but James has to come in later in the game. Yes, he doesn't have to go through as many blockings, but he doesn't have those connections. I think he did really well with the time he had, in my opinion. Like, he just like flew around making like really tight connections.
Yep.
So good for him.
He
He
did what he went in saying he was gonna, he felt an instant connection with Kay, and he did what he had to do. It's clear. He did what he had to do. We would have, if it was me, to the end, I would have made sure Calvin, Daniel, and Kay and Matt was going to see it to the end, because that's who I connected with. It's whoever at that moment they felt a connection with.
It sucks because you sit at home and you're like, if I went into this game, I would get 3 people in a room and say, as long as we go together the entire game, and we never back down at all, eliminating any of us, we will make it to the finale.
But
it doesn't go like that.
It doesn't go like that. And there's no telling. There's no telling.
I've heard it every single season. At the end, everyone's like, man, I came in here with such a gameplay, and it got so personal, and you actually build connections even through just the TV and like just messaging with them and having that gameplay. Like, it's crazy to think. It's hard for the person at home to put yourself in those shoes. You're just like, I don't care about any of these people. It's $100,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
that's why I was like, it's easy until you're sitting in that apartment. It's very easy to say, and that's with anything with TV, period. It's not what you think. And some people behind the camera, they're different. Whether they're scared, whether they turn on a completely different personality, whether they're acting, whether they're really being genuine, you won't know unless you really know that person in real life to base that assumption on. It's clear. That's the best way to say it.
Now, when you were eliminated, you said that you had to stay in the building.
No, they brought us to another apartment after we got blocked. We were and then we got brought back when it was time for the finale.
When you got taken to the other apartment, were you with everyone else?
No, you still don't see them.
You're still alone the whole time?
Still alone, but you get your phone back. So I was then able to just talk to my family and go back to watching my Netflix and my shows out there.
Okay, so like you just can't, obviously you can't talk about the show.
Correct.
Damn, so you're really alone for a whole month, no matter what. That would have sucked for the sisters that started the show.
You know what? Their idea was brilliant. They had each other.
That's
they were
true.
They're talking to each other. They're getting each other through it. That was actually very brilliant to go do it that way, because you have somebody.
Oh, you were drafted. That still blows my mind.
Should I start a petition?
Yeah, you should start a petition to get me on the circle.
I will do whatever I can, for sure.
We'll have to do some TikToks to get known and get famous.
Yes.
It's so hard. There's just so many things that you could ask about it, but I just don't want to ask too much about the show. Then it just ruins the whole illusion of the show.
It turns you off to then, and it's not in a bad way. It's just when you know too much, there's no mystery left.
It's true. Do they promote you to like Daniel had a board on his wall with everyone's names on it attached to a string, and then James had like 100 sticky notes, and
that's his own ideas. You can do whatever you want to get your creative juices flowing. I kept everything to the bare minimum because I was too focused on what was going on next. But that was all outlets for everybody to pass time, really. You needed to do something.
Could you actually see outside?
Some. Not the whole outside, but you can see when it's daylight and nighttime, yes.
But you can't like see traffic or see the buildings or...
No.
Okay, I didn't think so. Because like they always have that pan where they make it seem like everyone's actually in their little apartment buildings and they're all lit up and you can see through it into you guys.
Yeah. That's the only little thing you could really see. That's it. Because we're in a high-rise building, so you can't see anything below, no.
I remember watching, do you watch reality? Do you watch game shows?
Yes, depending. I do watch some.
Do you ever watch Big Brother?
No, and everybody on my cast loves that show. I've never watched it. People keep telling me I should be on it, and I've never even watched it.
You should go on it. That'd be incredible. At least you're stuck with all these people in a house instead of alone.
Yeah, maybe I will see if that's something that I know Daniel is obsessed with that show. Obsessed.
Maybe they'll reach out to you and bring you on the show.
Where do they take?
I don't know. Hollywood? I'm pretty sure they're just in a building that doesn't have any outside access.
Oh God. That's definitely
when they first started doing the show, I remember that you could have access to the backyards where the pool was, and there was a hot tub and a nice backyard, and you could go out there and it was actual natural sunlight, like it was open.
Yeah.
And then after like the first couple seasons, I think they're on like 23 seasons now. After the first couple seasons, people would rent planes and put note banners on the back of them, giving people hints on how to win the show. So they'd fly over top.
What?
Oh yeah. And they'd have like this person and this person are an alliance, and this person and this person are going against you. And eventually they had to like I remember one of the episodes it happened and an alarm went off in the house and everyone had to get inside immediately, and you couldn't look up, or you were like, if you read what it said, that you could get like disqualified or whatever.
That's insane.
Now there's no outside. If you watch Big Brother, there's no actual outside. It's artificial sun, and then it's a normal backyard with a pool and a hot tub and stuff.
It's artificial sun. I can.
It's like a fake. It's like a fake outside.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do what you got to do, because that's crazy. I can't believe somebody would even reach that much to do something like that.
But that's where it makes sense to where you guys can't really see out your balcony, because that building has a giant circle on it. It's not like it's hard to tell where you guys are.
Yes. I never thought of it like that, but that makes sense now. Why it's that crazy like that.
If there's any game show, reality TV, anything that you could possibly do in the future, what is something that you would love to be a part of?
I would love to have my own show based on my life with my family. My family, I think my story is very unique. I mean, there's a lot of little people shows out there, but my story is very different. So I think a day in the life, because my life is very hilarious as well as informative.
Yeah.
I think great. I mean, I'm down for anything, but I would love like a docuseries or reality show that would like impact people in a positive way.
I think that the way you approach the entire thing is amazing.
Thank you.
Like you just said, like my life is hilarious and informative. Like it's like, you know what, this is me. Take me for what I am, or see you later kind of thing. And I love that.
Exactly. Like it's not, to me, it's like, why focus on what you don't have or what's different about you? Why don't you focus about how you turned your whole thing around, and it doesn't really matter. Like my size doesn't define me. And I think a lot of people use things that are different to try to like make it about that. And it's really not about that. Like, why don't you show positive and how you're doing great? We need a lot more of that to grow. You know what I mean?
We need a lot more of that in the world.
Period. Exactly.
Like
too much negativity.
And you know what? It sucks. The social media thing is a big root of that. It's much as it's an amazing way to grow, meet friends, meet new people, find people with the same interests as you. It also gives the people that are going to be negative about everything, because they can hide behind a computer, a way to just say stuff and get away with it.
Yeah, I have no problem blocking people and removing people, because that's not what I do in my real life. I don't accommodate that kind of energy, because that's draining. So if you're like ignorant, you got something stupid to say or do, goodbye. Because social media, that's our outlet. That's our entertainment, right? So we can choose what we want to see and what we don't want to see. So if you're going to be mad that you were stupid and I blocked you, then I guess you're going to be mad, because I don't have time.
You don't have time for that.
Yeah.
A person who don't even know, like.
No, I don't do it.
Not going to lose sleep. I love it.
I don't have time for that at all.
I really do respect. I understand that everyone's on camera and sometimes you'll put a face up, but it truly does seem that like every single person on your season was just there for the vibes and meeting good people. And it just seemed like everyone was really just loving and accepting, which was sick to see.
You know, season 1 was great, 2 was great, but and I'm not saying this because I was on 3. I think 3 was very diverse. 3 was very different people. And at the end of the day, they each bought something that was unique and it's relatable to the audience, right? Like me, I get messages, oh my God, you're Indian, you're a little person, you're in a interracial marriage, you're a mom. So many things people were to connect with me. And that's the goal. That's the goal. You need to find somebody relatable. Yeah, there's plenty of men and women that are gay, or there's plenty of African Americans, there's plenty of Indians, there's plenty of Caucasian, there's plenty of everything. But the world is changing, and it's good to see different types of people so you can connect with them if that's how you are. We're tired of seeing stuff. Why do you always want to see the same stuff all the time? You need somebody that's going to give you a different, view on things.
It's honestly good to see all these different types of people overlapping.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You can always see any crew of people with a certain sexuality together, or any ethnicity or type of person hanging out together. But to see everyone collide and then watching you guys not, and that's the coolest thing about the circle is, yes, you can see their picture. You don't know if they're a catfish, but you get to know them for the person they are. And you see so many people get together and become a clan that you wouldn't expect in person to get together.
No, like, again, I'm 36, I'm married, I'm a mom, and I'm with Daniel, I'm with Matt, I'm with Calvin, I'm with Rachel. I'm with, it doesn't matter. I'm hanging. I was telling them, I don't know if it's because I'm with the times, but I'm hanging with them. My kid is calling them Uncle Calvin, Uncle Daniel, Uncle Matt. Like, it's just, if you jive, you jive. It doesn't matter your age or anything. If that energy is the same energy that you're attracting, then it is what it is. Oh my God.
Well, I gotta say, I someday I would love to do a podcast with you where we talk about your story. If you ever would like to do that, I'm so intrigued to hear everything you've been through. And that's a big thing that I've done on this podcast. I've done a lot of mental health podcasts with people who have been through hard times and what they did to get through it. I'm a big believer in that. But I just want to say thank you. Like, you didn't have to come onto this podcast with some random dude in Canada and talk about your time in the circle. So I really, really respect you. And I thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much. And Gregory, you were a breath of fresh air for me today. So thank you. I'm so glad we got to meet and collaborate on this for sure.
I highly recommend everyone go check out her on Instagram. What's your Instagram handle?
Ruksana Carroll.
Ruksana Carroll. You'll see it on my feed. You'll see it on my story. You'll see it in my news feed, or I guess that's Facebook. You'll see it on my Facebook too. But I really, really thank you so much for doing this. All the best and everything going forward. And I'll definitely reach out to talk to you about your story someday.
Same here. Thank you so much, Gregory. Take care.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye.